Hey everyone, Sparks back with another Goddess Victory nikke video, and now I've done some testing with Crown, and the results are pretty interesting and extremely impressive. So, TLDW is that she is extremely good, possibly the best burst 2 that we've ever gotten. So, I did a couple of different tests here, and I wanted to compare her at affection level 10 as if you only had one copy versus affection level 40 as if you had maxed limit break. So, the results were really strange because I did it with, before I raised her affection, so at 10, and I did it in like the normal shooting range, and I got 434 million. Then I went and leveled her up, and I actually technically only got her to affection level 39 because I want to be able to see more of her conversations, but that's going to be an extremely small difference if we got her to 40. And I went back into the exact same scenario with the same team and everything, and I got less with 394 million. So honestly, this is proof that you should only get one copy of Crown, and I wasted my resources getting max limit break. No, just kidding. This is just a point where we can see that there's massive variance in the shooting range tests. So I decided that from this point forward, I'm going to do boss testing because I think we'll get a lot more consistency because you don't have multiple enemies moving around. And honestly, for most scenarios, most units were more interested in what kind of damage they do to bosses rather than just mobs of enemies anyway. So, unfortunately, that test was kind of invalid, but now I went in with my fully overloaded and high skill level Crown. It's getting late, guys. And went in and tested a few different teams. So the first team that I did was with Rapunzel, and I think that this is a pretty solid squad here because Rapunzel is going to constantly trigger that skill that gives an attack buff when Crown gets healed, and Rapunzel heals on every single shot that she does. So this is going to be a very, very effective team, especially thinking about solo raid scenarios, because oftentimes you need healers on like your 4th or 5th team. So this could be really good, and I got 1.456 billion. And then I did the exact same team, but instead took out Rapunzel and put in Naga. Now, I think this is a pretty unrealistic team because, again, if you're making multiple teams from like a raid perspective, you're going to want to put Tia and Naga on the same team, and you're going to have, more options for different teams. But in theory, Naga can function very well on her own, and we actually got an even higher, very Rapunzel, very impressive number of 1.322 billion, which was the second highest damage number that I got of any of these tests. So I did it again, but with Modernia. So she's oftentimes put in as just, a 3rd DPS to rack up some more damage, and she's not going to burst. And we got the highest damage score I got of any of the tests at 1.456 billion. So this was definitely the best. This could potentially be a realistic raid squad as well. Okay, so then I thought, what if we just compared Crown to some other units? So I used the exact same team, and instead of using Crown, I swapped her in with some other burst 2. So we went with the Modernia team because that was our highest damage output team. But this time I put in Novel, and we got a much lower 1.084 billion damage against the boss. And then I did the same thing, but put in Naga as our burst 2, and we got a slightly better amount of damage at 1.103 damage. But these are all far under any of the Crown teams. And these are very, very strong burst 2s that are, frequently still used in raids, and they're doing like 30 to 40% less damage than when using Crown. Crown is amazing. I mean, basically what this tells me is, even in multiple different kinds of teams, Crown is just universally good. She's just an extremely strong unit that anybody can benefit from. And I feel like for raids, the Rapunzel team is probably the most likely, just, thinking about the context of trying to put together other teams, what might go well. Or she'll be on a totally different team here that I'll test later on in the full review, with like Dorothy and Summer Niece as a quick reload team, because she does have the reload speed buff, so I think she could actually fit in well there, and provide some survivability to that team as well, instead of using someone like Marshana or something like that. But you know, we'll see. I will be doing a full in-depth test and guide of Crown in a couple days after I've had a chance to do a lot of really thorough testing with her. So make sure you're subscribed so you don't forget that. As far as elemental lines, just, you know, off the top of my head, I think that for overload lines, you want to prioritize elemental damage. Attack isn't that great because it won't actually benefit any of her skills, and her herself isn't going to do a massive amount of damage anyway, so elemental damage is going to be better. Ammo is always great, especially for machine gun users, and then hit rate is going to be decent. The cubes, it's the same that you always want with everything, right? Either Bastion or Resilience, maybe Wingman if you don't have anything over anything else, but you know, that, do what you want with that. Like I said, we'll do more testing, but really like Bastion or Resilience is probably the way to go there. All right, let me know how your results have been using Crown, if you're liking her, if you've been able to pull her, and if you didn't see my pull video, link to that in the description below. It was kind of wild. All right, I'll catch you guys in the next video or stream.